Welcome to this explainer. Go ahead and pull up a chair, seriously. Because if you're new around here, if you've just traded in the city pavement for gravel roads, we really need to have a warm, campfire-style chat about how navigation actually works once you cross the city limits. We're going to dive into a fascinating little piece of source material today that perfectly captures the hilarious and honestly kind of beautiful culture clash that happens when modern, perfectly logical technology meets rural reality.
Okay, let's just get right into it and look at the stark contrast between the cold, calculated grid of a city and the sprawling, landmark-based geography of a rural community. Think about your standard city direction. Turn left at the third stoplight. It's sterile, right? It's exact, and it relies entirely on standardized infrastructure. Now compare that to a small town direction. It's not a command, it's a journey. It sounds more like, go past where the old co-op used to be. But don't turn there because that's the first white barn. You want the second white barn. If you hit the gravel pit, you've gone way too far. Notice anything interesting there? These directions literally rely on things that aren't even there anymore, like where the old co-op used to be.
Which brings us to the first part of our story, the AI meets town, or when logic collides with local. To really wrap our heads around this dynamic, we're going to follow the story of a perfectly logical but maybe a little naive artificial intelligence tasked with guiding a newcomer through the backroads. Someone actually said, let's just ask the AI, and, well, as the source material notes, that was a huge mistake.
Our digital friend started off super confident, relying on its standard programming. But as we'll see, it quickly descended into full-blown algorithmic panic as the locals firmly, and I mean firmly, rejected its exact coordinates. It started with step 1, trying to use strict distances. Then step 2, attempting to use time. And finally, step 3, desperately resorting to official government road names. Let's break down exactly why every single one of these supposedly logical steps fell completely flat.
So it starts off with the AI saying, in 0.4 miles, turn right. The town immediately rejected this. They're like, what's 0.4 miles? That's completely unhelpful. When the AI tried to use a precise mathematical measurement, the town immediately threw a way more practical human landmark right back at it, asking, wait, is that before or after Harold's fence? Because in a rural setting, knowing a neighbor's property line is infinitely more useful than doing fractions of a mile in your head.
Trying to adapt, the AI recalibrates and goes, okay, in approximately 2 minutes, turn right. And this brilliantly highlights the rural disconnect. The locals shot right back, 2 minutes if you're driving like who? Out here, time is totally relative. I mean, are you flying down the road in a pickup truck, or are you stuck going 15 miles an hour behind a neighbor's tractor? A 2-minute drive can easily morph into 20 minutes, making time-based directions practically useless.
At this point, you can practically picture the AI sweating digitally. It retreats to the most official data it has. Turn right at County Road 12. But here's the thing. Literally, nobody calls it County Road 12. The crucial takeaway here is that official government names mean absolutely nothing. They are instantly and permanently overwritten by the community's historical shorthand. To the locals, County Road 12 is known as one thing and one thing only: the road that used to flood before they fixed it.
Totally desperate, the AI pivots away from maps and looks at visual satellite data. It awkwardly tells the driver, turn right at the large white agricultural structure. Met with dead silence, the locals finally ask, you mean the barn? The AI admits, yes, the barn, to which the town responds with a simple yet terrifying question: which one? And that question builds into the ultimate trap for any outsider relying on a smartphone or GPS. That brings us to part 2, the white barn dilemma.
See, in most places, a white barn is just a landmark. But in a small town, oh no. It is an incredibly complex category with its own localized subgenres. You've got your old white barns, your new white barns. You've got the white barns that are actually technically cream, the white barns that have been converted into storage units, and, my personal favorite, the white barns known exclusively as the one that burned down but they rebuilt it.
The machine, processing all this, zooms in further on its satellite imagery and confidently declares, I see 2 white barns in proximity. It was desperately trying to impose its top-down, space-based logic onto the actual ground-level reality of the town.
But the locals immediately called out its blind spots, proving that truly knowing a place requires actually standing in it. First of all, there aren't 2, there are 3. Second, one of them is completely hidden behind the trees from the satellite's view. And on top of that, whether you even see the third one depends entirely on which direction you're approaching from. The AI's map was fundamentally broken because it completely lacked local context. At this moment of total, undeniable, algorithmic defeat, the AI did something truly remarkable. It stopped calculating, and it asked a very simple, very human question: which barn do you use? And the room just went completely quiet.
That silence happened because the AI had accidentally stumbled onto the golden rule of country living. Here's part 3, navigating by shared memory. This marks the exact moment the machine finally stopped trying to be exact and started trying to belong.
Because the real secret to small-town navigation isn't precision at all. The secret is shared memory. It's a living, breathing web of experiences that the entire community holds in common. It's a map drawn not with ink or pixels on a screen, but with lived history.
You see, you don't just turn at a wooden structure with white paint. You turn at the barn that actually means something. You turn at the very spot where your cousin had that unfortunate accident, backing his truck into the feed trough. Or you turn at the barn where the 4-H kids used to set up their summer lemonade stand. The landscape isn't just geography. It's a canvas of the town's collective experiences.
So the AI takes this in. It adjusts its programming one final time, synthesizing all these human memories and visual quirks together, and it generates a brand new direction. Turn right at the second white barn, the one after the new one, but before the one with the faded red door. Someone in the room pauses, nods, and says, "Yep, that'll work." By finally speaking the town's language, the AI actually earned the locals' respect. It turns out, if you truly want to find your way around a small town, you have to put down the GPS. You have to realize that directions are not coordinates. Directions are stories. And if you can follow the story, you'll get there eventually. Well, probably.
So as you settle into your new rural life and you start driving these winding back roads, I really want to leave you with this final thought. Try looking at the landmarks around you not as physical objects, but as bookmarks in a community's history. If directions are stories, what story is your neighborhood telling? Pay attention, talk to your neighbors, and I promise you will never be lost again. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.